the burden and the joy
The burden and the joy
of sending the Balikbayan box.
So,
no? So
why is it that there are people like me who are not into it, and why is it not part of my tradition?
Yung sapatos mismo, may laman na siyang mga medyas, kung anong whatever stuff you could put in. Tapos yung kahon pa, kung ano pang pwede mong isiksik, gano'n, no?
So, bilang isang, tayo na nagpapadala, we need to ask the question, what message are we sending when we put those things in the box?
Yun yung, I think, problema, na kapag ka, ang intent is para makapagmalaki. No?
Pag nag-abroad ka na, so much is expected from you. So much.
Is Balikbayan box a burden, a joy, a big responsibility? Of course, I like that one. Oh, that's so sad. Hello.
Hi, musta na?
How are you guys?
Okay naman.
I'm good.
Dito katatapos ng bagyo. So, aftermath of the storm.
Yeah. Dito naman medyo lumalamig na. It's winter is just around the corner. But it's exciting because the holidays are coming, and we have Thanksgiving and then Christmas, and then and then it's 2023. It's just we get excited in the US once Thanksgiving.
Galing na ako ng New York.
Yeah. Oh yes. Kamusta ang experience?
Yeah. My daughter and I went to New York to watch SB19.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Pop group, and we traveled all the way from Toronto. Got on a flight. Talaga pumunta pa kami para lang manood sa Times Square, supporting the Filipino talent.
Yeah. That's the United States. It's Christmas, holidays, and football, because the holiday season is a big football season.
Okay, great.
Okay, so
24 hours,
since you're talking about
Christy, anong topic natin ngayon?
Yes, since tama-tama, you were already mentioning about the holidays. Eh di syempre, ano ba usually ang preparation for the holidays ng mga Pinoys, lalo na abroad? Kundi yung pagpapadala ng Balikbayan box, di ba? So, so yan ang topic natin ngayon. The burden and the joy.
The burden and the joy.
Of sending the Balikbayan box, no? So, yun ang magiging topic natin ngayon. And siguro, we should start with Joy, kasi si Joy, siya ay nagpapadala ng Balikbayan box, di ba? I know you've been sending Balikbayan boxes over the years. So, ikaw mag-start nitong ating topic ngayon.
Okay. Actually, OFW kid ako. So I actually grew up receiving Balikbayan boxes from my dad na dati nagtrabaho sa Saudi and Dubai. And then eventually when I became an adult, karoon ng pamilya, pumunta rin ako ng Dubai, and then I started sending Balikbayan box sa mga kabag-anak, lalo-lalo sa sister ko. And then dito sa Canada, ganun din. So like most people na Pinoy na nagpapadala ng Balikbayan box, talagang nag-iipon kami ng pera, naghihintay kami ng mga for sale, ganyan. Tapos bumibili kami mga katakot-takot na toothpaste, sabon, ganyan, or mga meatloaf, corned beef. Yan ang mga usual na pinadadala namin. And then pinupuno namin yung box, tapos papadala namin. So, my mom is talagang grabe magpadala yun. She sends about 5 or 6 Balikbayan boxes per year to my sister. And it costs about $110 each time na ano. And minsan hindi lang isang box yon each time. Minsan 2-3 boxes yun. So ang mahal ang mahal. So yun naman ang nakagawian na there's always a box that has to be filled. Pag napadala mo na yun, meron na naman empty box na kailangan mong punuin. So yun ang ginagawa namin.
Yeah.
Okay. Ikaw, Rhoda?
Ako, opposite talaga nung experience ni Joy. Kasi wala ako talagang immediate family member na naging OFW. Like, I didn't have an uncle who was an OFW, or a cousin. Wala talagang immediate family. So, hindi yan nakagawian ng family namin. I don't remember receiving anything, even though, like, my uncle was living in the US. I don't remember them sending anything to my family or even to my grandma. It's not because they are not kind or generous. It's just that it was not part of our family tradition, right? And so then when I moved to the US, I've never really thought about it. I knew about Balikbayan box, but I never it has never become part of my family. So that's the, and maybe because I'm also really pragmatic, I didn't want to spend sending a box of anything, right? But I get excited when I go to people's houses, mostly Filipinos, and I always see a box with stuff, that's being filled, through the weeks. And when there are sales, they get excited and they go. And I never quit. I was never critical, towards that tradition. It was just something that, I don't know if I'm good enough to be creative in finding what items should go in the box. I just don't know what items should go in the box. And then I heard from Filipinos that they could pretty much put anything, including towels and bed sheets. I've never thought about it, those kinds of things. So I'd like to know more about, hopefully this conversation will give me some a better understanding. And, I'm Filipino, right? So why is it that there are people like me who are not into it? And why is it not part of my tradition? So ikaw naman, Christy, because you're the recipient, right? You're in the Philippines, maybe I can gain some understanding of, what makes a good Balikbayan box. Yeah. What makes a good Balikbayan box, and what the kind of, how do people receive them in the Philippines?
Well, actually, sa case ko naman, wala rin sa amin, hindi rin kami pamilya ng mga OFW. So, as a young child, or kahit hanggang nung college, never ako naka-receive ng Balikbayan box, no? But when I was already working at the US Embassy, so kasi doon may migration privileges, di ba? So, nangyayari, yung mga inabutan namin, so eventually naging migrants na sila, no? Special immigrant ang tawag dun sa visa na yon. So sila na ngayon yung nagpapadala ng Balikbayan box. So hindi na mga OFW kundi mga immigrants, no? So yun. So minsan sa office ganyan, meron ding makakaalala yung mga bang natin pag December yung magpapadala ng ng mga tsokolate.
Oh wow.
Minsan padala care of somebody na umuwi, ganyan, Pero yung Balikbayan box talaga, pwede din nagsasama sila doon, tapos ipapakibigay na lang sa isang sa isang kaibigan, Pero since meron din sa amin mga magkakamag-anak, kasi wala namang noon wala pa yung mga yung hindi kasi covered ng nepotism pagka magkaibang departments, no? So meron sa amin magkakapatid, so yung ate na una ng 10 years doon, so naging immigrant na. So meron din sa amin na parang sila yung nagre-receive ng Balikbayan box. At yung kwento nga nung isang friend ko, bali yung sabi niya ang galing-galing daw mag-empake nung nung ate niya. Kasi halimbawa sapatos, no? Yung sapatos dahil nga ang is not by weight, kundi everything that you could put into the box, 'di ba? So wala kahit gaano kabigat 'yan. So ang style diyan daw is like, for example, yung shoes, isuksok mo na yung medyas doon. O kaya kung talaga halimbawa may kasamang kahon, doon sa kahon ko ano pa yung pwede mong isiksik, no? So yung yung sapatos mismo, may laman na siyang mga medyas, kung anong whatever stuff you could put in. Tapos yung kahon pa, kung ano pa pwede mong isiksik, gano'n, no? So, yun ang style ng packing. Basta talagang punong-puno talaga yung box. Kasi nga, the idea is to send a little something for everyone. Diba? So, syempre, may lisahan na. Tapos, nakapangalan na dapat yun. Para hindi pag-aawayan kung, kanino ba ito. So, dapat nakapangalan yon per item. Lalo na kung halimbawa, yung kagaya dun sa friend ko, so yung ate niya, talagang yun ang parang panganay. No? So, pagpapadala siya for everyone else. Kung 10 silang magkakapatid, 10 families yon. So, kasi hindi lang yung kapatid, kundi yung asawa, mga pamangkin, and everything. So, ganun. Kaya kung ilang boxes yon, tapos yon, dapat yon, siksik na siksik, tapos labeled. So, all kinds, di ba? Delata, kung ano yung mga delata, tsokolate, everything, ganyan na ano. So, pero syempre, yung mga branded na items na mura sa States pero mahal dito, di ba? So, halimbawa, yung mga Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, pag mga pang lalaki, and then sa mga babae naman, mga makeup, di ba? Kung ano-ano. Basta practically, everything na pwede mong maisip na yung typical na ipang papasalubong mo. So yun, that's what you put in a balikbayan box. So yun. And yung brother ko brother-in-law ko nag-migrate to the US. So doon pa lang kami nag-start. Doon ko na-experience yung makaumpisang makatanggap ng ng balikbayan box, no. So ito na, pamilyado na ako nung At yun na nga, yung talagang my brother-in-law, yun nga, they would try to, and his wife, they would try to put as much as they can, tapos for everybody. Ngayon, ang naging problema lang, in the past, parang 1 to 2 months lang yung time, no? Yung time frame ng pagpapadala ng Pero yung nagkaroon ng problem sa customs na inabot ng months na nakapila yung mga trailers doon sa pier, doon sa customs. Nako, inabot ng 6 months. So they sent it September and we received it parang almost March na. Or March na noon. So the problem was with the food items, kasi kagaya kami, ang usual na bili namin, trail mix, no? Mga ganon, trail mix, supplements, yun ang mga requests namin, no? Ng family ko. Tapos, syempre, dito may expiry date. So yung ibang items, pa-expire na by the time we got it. So yun yung problema sa ganyang dito sa customs natin nung naging ganyan na sobrang tagal. Imagine what used to take 1 month, 2 months, naging ganon 6 months. So that's the problem. Kayo on your end, Joy, ano yung problema naman sa pagpapadala in terms of cost? How much does it cost? Or at that time, at least, would you know? Do you remember?
It's very costly kasi bibili mo yung hindi lang naman kung ano-ano kasi may mga request yan di ba? Papadala pa sila ng hugis ng paa nila. Ito, ganun ba?
Tapos isusok mo pa sa sapatos.
And minsan meron pang ini-specify pa yung brand, ganon. Sometimes, I think kailangan yung mga nasa Pilipinas, intindihin nyo rin na na hindi naman mayayaman lahat ng nasa abroad, di ba? It doesn't mean we can afford everything you want, right? We're also working hard here to buy those things. Hindi naman pinupulot yung request. There was a friend of mine, bumili siya ng sweater dito sa Canada. Tapos ang brand is Boca, B-O-C-A. So it was a popular brand here. But apparently, it was an unknown brand yata sa Pilipinas. Right?
Yeah.
So sent it anyway. Kasi nga, dito maganda yung brand na yun. Pagdating doon, nagalit pa yung mga pinagpadalhan niya. Sabi, ano to, Boca? Ano yung buka-buka? Gano'n, nakabuka kami. Parang, hindi sila grateful sa pinadala. So she was so hurt. Kasi, inintay pa niyang mag-sale yun, tapos bumili siya ng madami. So I think dapat yung gratefulness dapat, kahit ano pang matanggap nyo, tanggapin nyo, right?
Yeah.
There was one time, my mom spent days buying a certain Halloween costume. Tapos, nung dumating na yung costume, nagreklamo pa yung bata na, ay, ano ba to? Parang fake tong costume na to. Mga ganun-ganun ba mga comments na hindi na alam na pinagpakurang ng nanay ko yon na naghanap siya ng pawis siya, naghahanap ng costume na ini-specify niya, right? So I think dapat maging grateful naman tayo. Hindi naman yan basta-basta na we spend hours na pagbibili ng mga gamit na yun. At saka yung every time titignan namin kung may discount, may sale, it's not an easy thing. Yung always constantly thinking about you guys in the Philippines na habang nagtatrabaho, iniisip pa rin kayo kahit nasa mall, nasa grocery store, kayo pa rin ang iniisip namin, di ba? So I think dapat maging grateful ang mga tao, regardless of the cost. Right?
Yes.
I don't know. That's just me. Kasi ang dami kong naririnig na ganun At masakit sa puso yun. Sa mga napapatay.
Yeah. At saka totoo yan. Lalo na pagka pinag-uusapan natin OFW, no? Kasi syempre alam naman natin, iba yung sitwasyon ng OFW, iba yung sitwasyon ng migrant, di ba? So yung OFW talagang yon, dugot pawis niya yon. Kumbaga, lahat ng pinaghihirapan talaga niya yung every cent, every whatever the currency is nung country na yon para lang makapagpadala. And usually yung katulad halimbawa na lang dun sa mga movies na Anak and all the other Filipino movies, di ba, that show the plight of the OFWs, talagang sila minsan they put up a front, di ba, nung parang papadala nila lahat ng kaya nila, pero sila actually tipid na tipid sa sarili nila, yung talagang nagaano sila para lang makapagpadala ng bongga sa Pilipinas kasi alam nila how much it would make their relatives, their family, so happy with what they're going to send, no? Pero yun na nga, tao dito, yung mga recipients hindi nila naiisip kung ano yung pinagdaanan ng taong nagpadala. Basta sa kanila, yun nga, yung tumanggap lang na tapos pag halimbawa nga, totoo yung sinasabi ni Joy na minsan, dito, o halimbawa, yung brand na Merona, di ba? Ayan, ako ko rin yan, ganyan. Sa States, di ba, you buy that in Target, ganyan. Tapos dito parang, uy, ano to Merona? Wow, meron na. Kanya alam niyo so yung gagawin parang kagaya ng Boca, di ba? Oo. Di ba ganon? So hindi kasi nga known brand rito yung kasi hindi naman Merona, di ba? Hindi man na-pronounce Merona. Di ba? Pero dyan, Merona. Di ba? So doon pala, social nang dating. Pero pagdating sa meron na. Yeah. Meron naman dito niyan. So, alam mo yan, yung the joke pang gano'n na lalo na nga yung mga lesser known brands. Pero yung mga brands na kilala nila, yun, talaga na-appreciate nila na. Pero hindi naman din lahat. Meron lang din talagang iba na Pero, kagaya na sasabi ko, iba rin pagka migrant, no? So, yung mga Filipinos kasi na nakita ko sa US, yung mga nadalaw kong mga kaibigan, sila year-round na kasi sila nagre-ready year-round na. Pag-umpisa pa lang ng mga sale, kada sale, mag-uumpisa na mamili tapos maglalagay na yung doon sa mga box. Ganon. So, sabi nila, parang from January to September. Little items, kada may sale, maglalagay doon. Para hindi talaga yung mabigat na isang bilihan lang. But they do keep all their loved ones in mind when they do that. Sorry, Rhoda, you were saying something?
Yeah, I'm just feeling guilty a little bit, from a Filipino like me who don't really do these things. So medyo parang missed out. Am I missing out on the generosity of that I could probably be part of, or are my family members or friends or relatives, are they also missing out of not getting, these little gifts from people like me? So I don't know, maybe I don't know. I was never really, because it was never part of my tradition, right? I never really did that. Pero yun ngayon, nakita ko yung joy naman ng mga Filipinos, when they're preparing the boxes. I've seen it because when I go for potluck, or I've seen how generous they are. But then I also heard complaints, right? Like complaints from, that they are giving so much and that they are not getting the kind of appreciation or from their family. And then of course there are also complaints about yung branding, right? Yung ay nako, ayaw nga nila ng ganitong brand. Gusto nila yung talagang popular yung brand, kailangan Guess bags or Nike shoes, yung perfume, yung lotion, kailangan, Victoria's Secret or Bath and Body Works, So it's like they know. And then I noticed too, like when the Filipino youth leaders come to the US, these are Filipino kids from the Philippines, they actually, they know what to get. Yeah. Like they go to Bath and Body Works, they go to Victoria's Secret, they go to all these brand shoes, shirt, because they said that's what people are expecting to get from them. And so then for me, it bothered me a little bit, because I think, are we, those of us who are from here, are we feeding into that mentality that, that everything that comes from abroad are, it is better than the ones that we can get in the Philippines? Is that a good thing? How do we then change that mentality of, I don't know, maybe it's part of the colonial mentality, right? That everything that comes from outside of the Philippines is better than what they have there or what they can buy there. So I don't know. Obviously, culture is hard to change, right? You can't just change it just because you didn't think that it was appropriate, or you think that it's bad for the culture. I don't know. I think it's like a never-ending circle, right? Like in the case of Joy, you were an OFW child and you've been part of this sort of gift giving for a long time, and then when you yourself, when you went to Dubai or to Canada, you did the same thing. Will it ever end, right? But there is also the economy involved, because a lot of companies are part of this. Maraming companies, right? May competition talaga, sino mas mura, like who's gonna come and pick it up. Like, I know I'm part of the Filipino community in my area, and there's always like a message of say, "Oh, this company is coming to pick up all the boxes in one location. So bring your box." So it's like, it's really a big part of the Philippine economy as well. Because I think most of these shipping companies are Filipino owned. So I don't know. Do we need to change it? Do we need to stop it? Do we need to find ways to end the cycle of these things? Is it really important that we do this, to continue this or not? If it's making people happy, maybe we should not stop it. Not because I myself, I don't do it. That doesn't mean that, that it's, it's bad that that people are doing it or are sending. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, for Christy, you're in the Philippines, so ano
Bibigyan ko muna ng chance si Joy kasi
Joy muna.
marami ako sasabihin eh. So
Okay,
si Joy
ikaw naman, Joy, kasi ikaw yung grabe yung budget. If you are like sending 3 or 4 boxes, I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. I don't have that money to do that. Is that for that purpose?
The question that we need to ask bilang isang tayo na nagpapadala, we need to ask the question, what message are we sending when we put those things in the box? Kasi like I have this friend who was a domestic helper dito sa Canada, and then she was telling me, kailangan ko mag-ipon ng pera kasi ang request ng kapatid ko ay Coach na bag. Right? And dito, totoo ang Coach dito, right? So mag-iipon pa siya ng pera to buy a $400-500 bag. And I told her, but you're a domestic helper, paano mo pa maiipon yon, right? Kailan mo pa maaano yon? And why? Bakit what kind of message are you sending, right? Are you trying to send this bag dahil you want your sister to brag about it? Or do you want na ang message mo ba is, oy, ang ganda na ng ko dito, ng posisyon ko dito, kaya kayang-kaya na ng power ko bumili ng Coach bag? I mean, what message are you sending? So, yun dapat ang tatanungin natin as we put those things in the box. Are we sending because we love them? Or are we sending because we want to say na we're doing so well dito kahit hindi naman? Right? Or are we saying, laki ng sweldo ko, kaya ito, Coach bag, Michael Kors, mga galing-ganyan na mga brands. So I think that's ito yung kultura nga na sinasabi mo, Rhoda, na colonial mentality na I think that's not good. I think you should send gifts that are meaningful, hindi yung para lang ipagmalaki or para lang ipaalam sa iba na yung kapatid ko nasa abroad or nanay ko nasa abroad. Kasi hindi nyo alam na hirap yung tao na bumili nun. And only for you to brag around. I don't know. That's just me. Kasi when I send things, practical lang na things like sabon, shampoo, mga ganun-ganun mga pinadadala ko, hindi yung mga pasosyal na mga bagay na wala namang katuturan, right? I mean, why would you wear something branded na alam naman ng mga tao hindi mo naman binili? Na binili naman ng kapatid mo na domestic helper naman doon, right? So I think we need to be careful of what message we're sending. Apart from what's inside the box.
That's really a good point, because I think it's sending a wrong message if what you're sending really does not have any meaning, right? Meaningful stuff, right? Yeah.
Pero yung
anyway, Christy, your turn.
Yeah, yung unang-una siguro nga yung iba-ibang klaseng balikbayan box, 'di ba? Kaya sabi ko iba yung padala ng OFW, iba yung padala halimbawa ng migrante at saka kung sino yung pinapadala niya. So yung mga OFWs usually pagka halimbawa we're talking OFWs from Hong Kong, Middle East, ganyan. So yan yung talagang medyo in a way mas marami yung practical items nga na sinasabi ni Joy, the consumables na sabon, shampoo, ganyan, no? So meron ding so clothes, ganyan, canned goods, yan. So yun yung mga dito, yan yung mga pinapadala na talagang practical, which is good, yun yung and then sasamahan na lang nila yun nga nung request. So sasamahan nila siguro isang 1 or 2 branded items as requested. So yun na yung mga shoes, ganyan, At siguro ang nila doon is yung how much it costs there versus how much it costs here, no? So halimbawa ako, when the first time na I went to the US, para akong naloka. Kasi Ako kasi magaling ako sa mental math eh. So pag halimbawa nakita ko ganyan ba ito, when I was buying for example toys, kasi mag-isa lang ako noon eh, hindi ko naman kasama yung pamilya ko. So halimbawa toys, napunta ako sa toy section. Tapos meron na kagad akong ano na, tinignan ko na sa Pilipinas, magkano to? Versus doon. So naano ko, wow, tapos compute ko na, kalahati lang yung price doon sa doon sa States kaysa dito sa Pilipinas. So ganun din yung mga branded na mga shirts and apparel, 'di ba? Tapos talagang wow, talagang ang mura. So in that sense, parang yun yung yun na yung parang mas practical bumili doon. Kung yun ang tipo ng mga brands na binibili mo. So pero ang although may colonial mentality talaga na involved, 'di ba? Kasi nga gusto natin branded eh. Pero minsan may bearing din yung quality. No? Now, why am I saying that? Kasi syempre dito ngayon, mostly made in China naman, di ba? Ngayon, yung misconception, actually, yung nandyan sa States, nasa Canada, marami din dyan, made in China na.
Yeah, that's true.
Pero, the difference is, pero kasi yung husband ko dati nag-work siya sa isang sa isang importation ng company na nag-i-import ng toys. So meron talagang mga class A, class B, class C. So sa China, ang mga factories nila doon iba-iba rin. So meron sila talagang class A, o yan yung pang first world countries, ganon. So mas mataas talaga yung quality ng mga papadala nila sa Tapos may class B, may class C. So yung mga pinapadala talaga sa Philippines na made in China, yung mga binibili sa Divisoria, sa Ungpin, sa yun talaga yung mga class C. Kaya talagang yung isang yung warak, ganun, yung mga laruan. Diba? Kaya nga mga 3 for 100 pesos. Syempre, mo rin sa presyo talaga. Kung magkano yung presyo, may bearing talaga dun sa quality. So although yung mga mabibili na diyan ngayon sa States, mga made in China nga, pero talaga yung quality nun magkaiba.
Yeah.
Kasi yun na nga, ganun din kasi yung factories nila sa China ganun. Meron sila kung saan yung market. Kasi nga magkaiba din yung yung pricing. So in that sense, meron ding hindi naman siya talaga colonial mentality in the sense na pero meron ding bearing yung quality. Now, I think yung colonial mentality kicks in kapag halimbawa yung mga tipong request na nga, ganyan, yung mga Hermes, Coach, mga yung talagang, kumbaga, hindi na practical talaga. Yun na yung parang to earn bragging rights na lang. Ma-flex lang, flex ko lang tong pasalubong sa padala sa akin, from So yun, yung relo, so yun. Yun yung, I think, problema na kapag ang intent is para makapagmalaki, no? Yun. Yeah. So yun ang hindi maganda na Pero yung talaga na kasi mas tumatagal, 'di ba? Mas din siya. So sometimes ganun talaga eh. Yung mga mas bagay na mas matitibay, mas magandang quality, mas mahal talaga ng konti. Diba? Pero yun nga, mas mahal di hamak dito sa Pilipinas kesa kung binili doon sa sa abroad. Tapos yung meron akong nabasa na sa pagtuturo ko ng Filipino literature, meron akong nabasang short story na ang title niya Pandora's Box, no? Pero Filipino literature in English. Ay, in Filipino talaga pala, hindi English. Nagpapadala siya ng Balikbayan box sa Pilipinas, taga US ito, sa US siya nagtatrabaho. Tapos, padala ng tsokolate, mga ganon, sa asawa niya, pabango, magagandang shirt, polo shirt, pantalon, Levi's, ganyan, sa mga anak niya. Tapos, ang naging long-term effect nun, yung asawa niya, dahil napadala niya ng gano'n, hindi niya alam, nagkaroon na ng mistress. Dahil palaging mabango eh. Di ba? Meron siya regular na supply ng pabango, palaging maporma, ganyan. So, tapos siya naman padala ng pera. So, kumbaga, hindi masyado nag-intindi na yung lalaki ng wala na siyang obligasyon masyado. So, nagkaroon siya ng mistress. Yung kanya namang mga magulang, dahil sa regular din supply ng processed na food, mga canned goods nga, tapos chocolates, chips, ganyan. Nagka-hypertension and diabetes. Tapos, 'di ba, yung ganon. Tapos yung ganon din yung anak naman niya naging very demanding, napakaano na nung entitlement dahil pero yun na yung demanding na talaga, ay gusto ko ganito, ma, ganyan. So yun naman yung masamang epekto minsan talaga na kapag masyado mong pinagbibigyan yung na hindi mo, kasi ayaw niyang kwento kung ano yung hirap niya. So siya, parang yun nga, yung putting up a front na parang, okay, sabi niya, basta gusto niyang ma-maintain yung kung alimbawa ang padala niya is $500 a month, tapos plus the goods, ganun. So mini-maintain niya yung ganun. Pero siya, double job siya dyan sa US para lang ma-support niya yung ganong, yung ganong sustento. So yun yung problema. So I think, people really have to be practical, in the words of Rhoda, pragmatic, di ba? Para na kung ano lang talaga yung kaya at saka kung ano talaga yung kailangan, no? So it's important, and you have to communicate kung ano yung totoo.
Yeah,
diba? Dapat hindi yung And then, hindi naman sa pag nagpadala ng balikbayan box, pwede rin kasi, alimbawa, yung mga used items nyo dyan, pre-loved items nyo. Dito sa Pilipinas, maraming tatanggap niya na welcome yan. Wow, sa churches, di ba? Kasi dito palaging merong nasusunugan, nababaha, or ano. So, yun din yung isang pwede nyong, Rhoda, since you were asking, gawin yung church to church, ganon. If you have yung mga organizations na pwede rin ganun, you box all your old items, yung mga nyo dito, towels, blankets, ganyan, and all other items that na hindi nyo na but they're still in good condition, good quality. Yun, maraming makikinabang yan dito. So yun din yung isang practical na way ng pagpapadala. And then of course then you put in some items like from the dollar store. Yan. Malaking tulong din kahit paano.
Yeah, I think what you pointed out is the maybe use this tradition or this part of the culture to make a difference, right? Yeah. So, alam ko na, for example, may mga churches dito sa US na nagko-collect ng mga Christian books. Kasi di ba sa US, mahilig kami ng mga book club, mga ganyan. So, kinokolekta nila yung mga old books, mostly Christian books, and then they actually send it to the Philippines, to churches or to libraries. Tapos may mga nag-retired na professors. So, pinapadala nila yung library nila sa Ateneo de Zamboanga or wherever. Tapos alam ko din na may mga choir robes na pinapadala sa Philippines. Mga vacation Bible school books na pinapadala sa Philippines. Meron ding isang high school dito sa Illinois na nagpadala lahat ng mga science and math books to a school district in the Philippines. So you can use, that part of the culture to really make a difference. And tama ka din, halimbawa, palagi may baha, may lindol, may flood, lahat-lahat na yung disaster relief operations sa Philippines. Like right now in Mindanao, they're doing something relief operation and they need like clothes and shoes and all of that. And we have tons of that, I'm just looking at my kids' closet and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are a lot of clothes and these are like really nice clothes, because we buy durable kind of good quality clothes.
Do you sometimes wonder why it's uniquely Pinoy? Because yung balikbayan box is uniquely Pinoy. Wala naman yan sa ibang kultura, right? Remember your experience, Rhoda?
Yeah, that's true. Like when my son was studying abroad in Cambodia, he forgot something here that's really important, and so we wanted to send it to him. Kasi yung kanyang retainers and other things na kailangan niya talaga. So it's just a small item. It's like this big. And so then I added, pen, kasi mahilig siya ng mga pen and pencils. So I added. So, the box is probably not even as big as this one, which is a Kleenex box. And then I went to a regular UPS or a shipping company, FedEx or something like that. It will cost me almost $300 just to send that to Cambodia, which means that they don't have that culture. I mean, there are a lot of Cambodians in the US, right? They don't have that culture of sending boxes to their country. Samantalang sa Philippines, yung malaki na box, you know,
Balikbayan box,
you can get,
$100 lang ano eh.
anything, right? Television, newspaper, I mean, lahat na, computer, whatever, right? It's only like $100, right? Excuse me. So, why is that? You know, why is it that, you know, Filipino is uniquely the leader in, you know, in sending stuff, you know, back to the Philippines? Is it because there are a lot of Filipinos, you know, all over the world? You know, you can be in Iceland or in Alaska, and there will be a company that would ship your box because that's just part of the Filipino culture.
Business, yeah.
It's business, right? It's business. So, maybe it would be difficult to actually change it. But I also like what you pointed out, Christy, about being honest, right? So those of us who are in the US or Canada or overseas, you know, are we really honest to our family members or to our friends in the Philippines that some of these things that we send, or that when we send a box, it's really because we work double jobs, you know, to be able to do that? Do they know the story behind those boxes? Right. You know, are we willing to tell our story? Because I've heard Filipinos complaining about that too, you know, here. So
yeah,
when are we going to? Yeah, when are we going to be honest about it, right?
Yeah,
or are we just not going to say it?
Yeah, one of my friends actually said it's a curse going abroad. Yeah,
Wow.
going abroad kasi, well, pag nag-abroad ka na, ano na, so much is expected from you. So much. Yeah, and you don't. Hindi lang balikbayan box, right? You have to send money monthly.
That is true.
So,
yung monthly remittance.
Sabi niya, it's a curse. Sabi niya, sana hindi nala ako nagtapos ng pag-aaral, or sana hindi nala ako nag-abroad. It's like that. So
yeah, and that is true. I've totally forgotten that too, you know, because in addition to the box, people have to send money too, right?
Right.
So it's not just, you know, it's not just the items that you put in the box, but you have to make sure that you have hundreds of dollars laying out, you know, out in your table to make sure that you have money to send for emergency. I mean, you know, emergency, right? You know, it's kind of a regular remittances, because that's really the biggest contributing factor to why the Philippine economy is really not gonna go down, because there are a lot of Filipinos overseas who are still continue to send money to this day to
Pero I think that's another topic altogether, ha?
Yeah, ibang topic na yun, you know?
Another topic na naman yan next time natin, yung tungkol yung pagsusupport. Actually, di ba? Actually, nag-abroad sila para talaga makasuporta. Di ba? Yun yung ano nun eh, na of course, you always earn more abroad, yung ganung mentality. Kaya nga ano. So, ang pinakaugat talaga nun is yung sa cultural ano naman natin na yun nga, yung kailangan kang palaging mag-support doon sa pag ikaw panganay, paaralin mo pa yung mga ibang kapatid mo, 'di ba, yung ganon. So yun yung ano, and of course, pag magulang ka talagang yun. Yung ano mo talaga is to support. Pero pag halimbawa kapatid, 'di ba, yung ganon. Pag ikaw yung panganay, kailangan mo pa ring magsuporta doon sa mga younger siblings. Pero reserve natin 'yan for another for another topic, yung culture nga ng supporting. At minsan, yung burden na ipapasa pa nga sa anak, di ba?
Yeah.
Yun, yung pag-ano na yun. So, okay.
So then, should is Balikbayan box a burden, a joy, a big responsibility, a curse? I like that one. Oh, that's so sad. Is it a curse? Maybe let's do some final thoughts about this.
Yeah.
It is a privilege to send a box to your loved ones. And it only turns into a curse if the loved ones are not grateful.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, for someone like me who has not sent any box,
Mhm.
maybe it's time for me to send a box, right? Maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know what to
Oo.
send. Maybe I should research because obviously
Yeah.
I don't want you mentioned something about,
I'll give you ideas, Rhoda, later.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't want, family or friends to have their high blood pressure or what else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Learn entitlement. What else did you
Oo.
say?
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
those things.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like your point, Joy, of it is really a privilege too, right? To be able to
Mhm.
share, right? To be part of that generous spirit. Uh, Maybe because I'm more practical. I don't mind probably sending money as a gift or help or whatever, but I don't know if I could fill up a box. I mean, it's like, what should I put in a box? So yeah, you're right. You need to kind of give me suggestions and what to put in a box. I'm gonna try it, but I don't know if I will. But maybe that's something that I can think about and have a discussion with my family.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And Christy, ikaw naman.
Okay, sa akin naman, as for the I'm speaking on behalf of the Filipinos, syempre, who are receiving here, no. The Balikbayan box is definitely a blessing. Dapat lang talaga ganun ang mindset. Na blessing yan, Anything that you receive, 'di ba, is always a blessing.
Yeah.
Imagine wala ka namang ginawa, tapos nakatanggap ka.
It's a grace,
Dapat,
right?
'di ba? You should, kagaya na sabi niyo, you should be grateful. Yun talaga dapat yung spirit, 'di ba? Dapat pasalamat ka, nakatanggap ka. Imagine, kahit delata man yan or that's yung mga practical items, bawas yan sa grocery list mo.
That's
diba?
true. Yeah.
Diba? Bibili ka rin naman talaga ng sabon, ng shampoo, ng delata. Tapos kung pinadala sa yan, that's expense na bawas dun sa gastos mo. Okay? Tapos pag halimbawa na padala sa iyo ng ibang brand ng pabango, makeup or bago ka magreklamo, try mo muna. Mamaya, mas magustuhan mo pa yan kesa doon sa talagang nakasanayan mo ng brand, no? Kasi ako, marami na rin ako natanggap na hindi yun yung typical brand ko. Pero when I tried, ang bango nga, it's good. So, I think the important thing here is the mindset, Yung to be thankful, to be grateful for whatever it is that you receive. Dapat ganon. And pray for those who are sending, Kasi nga, what went into it, diba? Into the process of sending it, diba? So, we should remember, so we thank them, wag kalimutang magpasalamat, and to pray, to pray for these people overseas, Kasi binubuhay nila yung ekonomiya, malaking ambag nila sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. Tapos, yun na nga, nagpapadala sila. So, sa akin, talagang yung, abuso na yun kapag nagreklamo ka pa.
Yeah.
I think, maling-mali na talaga yun pag nagreklamo ka pa na, Sa akin, whatever I get, I'm just thankful. Yan. So, dapat, sana, ganun din, yung sa lahat because it's really a blessing. I think we should just keep that in mind, and pray for these people who work so hard and who send this to us lovingly, So that should be that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah. Well, I'm convinced. Maybe I'll send a Balikbayan box this year or something. I'm convinced now because I want to be part of that, I want to be part of something that is generous and good, that makes people joyful. Yeah, definitely. I'll do it. I'll try it.
Logistics non, the logistic itself. Yung pagbili ng item na yon, babalutin pa, lelabelin pa, tapos sisiksik pa namin yon. Tapos iaano pa namin yun and make sure na walang mababasag. Tapos iti-tape pa namin. The taping itself is like nakakapagod. Tapos isang ganun lang yun Isang ganun lang nila ng kutsilyo, bukas na.
Yeah.
Pero the things that we had to do physically for that
Yeah.
box. And for that one item na hawak mo na binigay sa'yo, that person thought of you. So dapat yun ang
Mhm.
yeah, just to piggyback on what you said, Christy.
Yeah.
True. Okay. So,
Okay.
who's,
So, Balikbayan box, is it a burden? Is it a joy? I guess it's both, right? I guess the answer to the question is both. So I guess let the Filipino culture of Balikbayan box continue, right? If it's done in good spirit, right? If it's done in good
Yes.
spirit, but if it's not done, if it's a burden, then then the giver or the sender will have to really think through, what the intent is. And those who are in the Philippines, be grateful, right? Magpasalamat. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think that wraps up our discussion for this morning or this evening, depende of course kung nasaan. So we just want to thank our viewers for joining us today, and we hope that you stay tuned, watch out for our succeeding podcasts. Okay, once again, I'm Christy.
I'm Rhoda.
Joy.
Okay, see you next time.
Next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.